Good morning, world. It's currently 8 a.m. and I'm trying to make quick flatbreads for my family in the morning. We're gonna need 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and you're literally gonna be done in like 15 minutes. It's so quick, and the delicious aroma in the house is gonna wake up your whole house. You're gonna need 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 150 grams of milk or water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and that's it. We're gonna mix the dough first with the spoon. And if you find that your dough still sort of breaks off a little bit, just add a tiny bit of milk and then keep kneading them with your hands for a few minutes. A couple of minutes is just enough, just so that the dough, you want to make sure is all sort of stuck together. So you could see here I'm adding a tiny bit of milk just to show you this tip. You could use water. I've done it with both. I just had a little bit of milk left over and that I had to use up for something. But I've done it with both and it works perfectly. So also, if you're fasting, if you use it with water, this is beautiful because you're using olive oil and water. So then I'm using a little bit of olive oil just about my hands. I didn't want to add too much flour into this. So that's why sometimes it's also another trick for you guys. If you don't want your dough to be too tough, instead of patting it with more flour on the surface, use your oil and some for your hands, some for the working surface, and then it's going to be beautiful. So then we're going to cut the dough into 7 to 8 equal balls. And the way I do this is always I take a piece, I cut it in half, I take a piece, I cut it in half. And you can use a scale, but this is what I find is easy to ballpark, and I want it to be quick, so this is what I've done. And then you're going to roll each of the pieces of dough into a circle, just so it looks a bit nicer, but you really don't have to do that either. I really love baking something or frying something in the morning with the dough because the house always smells beautiful, and especially on the weekends, you really want to make sure you do something like that, at least for me, because I think it creates a wonderful childhood atmosphere for kids and for adults too. And then we're gonna roll the dough into the disc. And cheers, guys. I'm enjoying my morning coffee in between, which was great. And then we're gonna use this, just flip any small plate or a bowl if you want to sort of cut the discs in a perfect circle, and cut the edges around just to make sure you get the round shape. You don't have to do that. It's just sometimes I like to make them nicer in shape and they look very pretty. So once you've done all of that, you could see I sprinkle a little bit of flour just because I'm stacking them all up together, and just in case. They shouldn't get stuck. This is not the type of dough that would, but just in case. And you could see I have this leftovers from cutting out the edges, and so what I recommend you do is make a couple of other flat discs. Why not? So what I do is, you could see it's crumbling together here. The trick is to add a tiny bit of water or milk, whatever you're using, just a tiny bit, like a teaspoon maybe, and then knead a little bit more, and you'll notice quickly that the dough will come together very homogeneously and beautifully in a bowl. And then just roll it again and use it up. Oh, you can see my son is playing with me here, and he won. He ended up having that bowl, but then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some oil onto the frying pan, and then we're gonna fry the flatbreads on each side for a couple of minutes. The size is great because you could see for like a large pan you can fit 3 of these, so this was a very quick frying time for me. I was done in a few minutes, a couple of minutes here and a couple of minutes there, and I was done. And by this time, my house woke up, so I had to feed them. But here you are. They're delicious. Really try them. You're not going to regret. Everybody loved them. We eat them with Nutella and honey and sour cream, whatever your heart desires. We used also a couple for lunch during our soup, and that was perfect. Enjoy and follow us for more. Bye.